Millions of people around the world see Donnie McClurkin as a symbol of hope, faith, and strength. Known for his powerful voice and deep spiritual impact, McClurkin has left an indelible mark on the gospel music industry. Beyond being a famous gospel singer, pastor, and TV personality, McClurkin's life story is one of incredible persistence and unwavering faith. Even though he faced many personal problems, his book, Journey, has inspired many by showing how faith can change people's lives and help them get through hard times. Donnie McClurkin was born on November 9, 1959, in Amityville, New York. His early life was hard and shaped his spiritual journey. He grew up in a family that had many problems, including drug abuse, and he saw dysfunction and instability from a young age. The family also went through a lot of bad luck. His childhood was shattered when his younger brother was killed by a speeding driver. This terrible event threw McClurkin and his family into a time of deep sorrow and turmoil. Despite the pain, McClurkin found comfort in gospel music and his faith. He joined the local. He discovered his love and talent for singing in a church choir. The spiritual foundation he built during these formative years set the stage for his future career in gospel music and ministry. It was here that his journey of healing and resilience began, which would lead him to become one of the most influential voices in gospel music. Donnie McClurkin's professional career in gospel music began when he joined the Benny Cummings Singers, a famous gospel group, were a big part of McClurkin's early career as an artist. This chance was a turning point for him because it gave him the chance to improve his singing and gain valuable experience in the gospel music scene. Playing with the Benny Cummings Singers not only helped McClurkin get better at what he did, but it also introduced him to the wider gospel community, where he started to get noticed for. He showed a lot of ability and heart in his performances. Being in this group exposed McClurkin to different gospel styles and musical techniques, which helped him learn more about the style he loved so much. McClurkin's faith and love for gospel music became even stronger at that time, and he realized that singing wasn't just about making music, but also about ministering to people's hearts. His time with the Benny Cummings Singers laid a solid foundation for his future career, getting him ready for the incredible journey that lay ahead. One of the most important things that happened in Donnie McClurkin's life was becoming a mentor to gospel legend Andre Cr., who is known for making groundbreaking contributions to the genre. Crouch saw McClurkin's huge potential early on and took him under his wing. This mentorship was a turning point in McClurkin's career as Crouch's advice helped shape his musical style and approach to gospel ministry. Crouch's influence on McClurkin went beyond just teaching him music. He also gave him a deeper understanding of the role that gospel music plays in spreading faith and hope. It was important to McClurkin to use his music to inspire and uplift people, so he wrote songs that were not only fun to listen to but also had a spiritual impact on people. Crouch's influence was a big part of McClurkin finding his own voice in the gospel genre, one that mixed traditional elements with a modern twist, making his music accessible to a wide audience. In the 1990s, Donnie McClurkin's career reached a new high point when his self-titled debut album came out. It was a huge success, launching him into the mainstream gospel scene and making him known as one of the genre's leading voices. The album showed off McClurkin's powerful vocals, emotional delivery, and ability to connect with his audience. Many people around the world connected deeply with deep-rooted faith. The album's title track, Stand, became a powerful anthem that spoke to the hearts of millions. The song's message of strength, faith, and perseverance in the face of life's trials struck a chord with audiences, making it an instant favorite among gospel music fans. Stand encouraged people to hold on to their faith no matter how hard things got. Stand is more than just a song, it's a story of Donnie McClurkin's own journey through hardship and his unwavering faith in God's guidance. The song's powerful lyrics are based on McClurkin's own experiences, and by singing this song and telling his audience about his struggles, like dealing with childhood trauma, health problems, and personal doubts, McClurkin made a deep and personal connection with them. Donnie McClurkin's career is a testament to his immense talent, unwavering faith, and dedication to spreading the message of hope through gospel music. His rise to international fame was marked by the release of several successful albums that cemented his place as one of the most influential gospel artists of his generation. Not only has he earned praise in the music industry, but he has also become a well-known figure on TV and radio, using these mediums to reach a wider audience with his message of faith and inspiration. Donnie McClurkin's album Live in London and More, which came out in 2000, was a big moment in his career. It made him famous all over the world and grew his impact beyond the United States. At the Fairfields Hall in central London, this album captured the raw energy and spiritual intensity of McClurkin's live performances, which struck a chord with listeners all over the world. The album's main success was the heartfelt anthem We Fall Down, which talks about redemption and grace. The lyrics, which are about how failing is part of being human and rising again is a sign of faith, struck a chord with people all over the world. The song's message of hope and forgiveness became a guiding light for many who were struggling with their flaws and looking for a way to heal spiritually. In 2004, McClurkin released an album called Psalms, Hymns, and Spiritual Songs, which solidified his reputation as a legend in gospel music. The album mixed traditional gospel with contemporary worship and soulful hymns, showing how versatile and knowledgeable McClurkin was in the genre. The variety of musical styles also showed how well he could, transitioning smoothly from one type of gospel to another, while keeping the core message of faith and praise in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. The album was a commercial and critical success, earning McClurkin multiple awards, including Grammys, Dove Awards, and Stellar Awards. Its widespread praise showed how talented he is and how committed he is to making music that both honors the traditions of gospel music and breaks new ground to reach new audiences. The praise he received for this album showed how influential he is in the gospel music world and how dedicated he is to his work. In 2009, McClurkin released We All Are One Live in Detroit, an album that showed off his range as a gospel artist and was recorded live in Detroit. This album brought together the rich tradition of gospel music with modern elements that appealed to a modern audience. The live performance setting added an extra layer of energy and authenticity, letting McClurkin connect with his audience in a way that only live gospel music can. The title of the album, We All Are One, reflects a central theme of unity and acceptance, emphasizing the idea that gospel music is for everyone. It has the power to bring people together, no matter where they come from or what they're going through. The songs on this album range from powerful praise anthems to soulful ballads, and each one had a message of hope, love, and spiritual unity. Throughout his career, Donnie McClurkin has won many awards and praise, which has only strengthened his reputation. McClurkin is known as one of the most renowned artists in gospel music. He has won many awards, including multiple Grammys for his outstanding contributions to the music industry and Dove and Stellar Awards for his achievements in the gospel and Christian music scenes. These awards show how dedicated McClurkin was to making music that crosses boundaries and affects people all over the world. His powerful lyrics and soulful melodies have earned him praise from critics and made him a beloved figure among gospel music fans all over the world. The many awards he has received show how influential he is in the industry and how dedicated he is to spreading the message of faith and hope through his music and other activities. In addition to his success as a gospel singer and songwriter, Donnie McClurkin has also made a big difference as a TV and radio host. He has used these platforms to share his message of hope, inspiration, and faith with people who might not normally listen to gospel music. His charismatic personality and deep understanding of spiritual matters have made him a well-known figure in the media. Donnie McClurkin's radio show, The Donnie McClurkin Show, has been very influential, reaching millions of listeners all over the world. The show features gospel music, motivational messages, and interviews with other artists and spiritual leaders, creating a space where listeners can find support and a sense of community. His work in radio has allowed him to minister to people in a more personal way than on stage or in the pulpit. Donnie McClurkin is famous for being a great gospel singer and musician, but he is also praised for being a great pastor. His pastoral work is closely linked to his music career, which shows how dedicated he is to ministry and how he wants to inspire and uplift others through preaching and song as a pastor. Serving God and leading his congregation through faith, compassion, and community outreach has been McClurkin's life's work. In the late 1990s, he became an ordained minister, which strengthened his commitment to the Christian faith. He started to preach and lead worship services, using his fame as an artist to inspire others spiritually. Donnie McClurkin is the founder and senior pastor of the Perfecting Faith Church in Freeport, New York. He preaches about the healing power of faith and the transformative power of God's love. His sermons are often based on his own life experiences, which makes them more personal and powerful for his audience. York started the church in 2001 because McClurkin wanted to make a place where people could feel welcome to worship, grow in their faith, and help each other. As a preacher, he focuses on preaching messages of hope, empowerment, and personal growth. Transformation by encouraging his congregation to grow in their relationship with God. Under McClurkin's direction, Perfecting Faith Church has grown a lot, becoming a lively community that draws worshipers from all over the world. Backgrounds. The church has many programs and ministries to meet the spiritual and practical needs of its members. These include youth ministries, Bible study groups, and outreach efforts to serve the local community. McClurkin's vision for the church is based on the idea that faith should not only be felt but also seen. In the church and in everyday life through acts of service and love. One thing that makes McClurkin's work as a pastor stand out is how well he combines music and ministry. His powerful voice and musical talent are used for evangelism and outreach, and many of his sermons are accompanied by music. He leads musical performances where he sings messages of hope and encouragement. This one-of-a-kind style creates a dynamic worship experience that hits home with both regulars and visitors. As a pastor, Donnie McClurkin is dedicated to caring for and supporting his congregation. He often talks about personal issues like grief, addiction, and mental health, drawing from his own experiences to offer advice. His empathy and understanding make him a trusted figure among his church members, who feel free to ask for help and guidance on their spiritual journeys. Donnie McClurkin is a famous gospel singer, pastor, and TV personality. His life story is a profound testament to resilience and healing in the face of unimaginable adversity. While he is praised for his powerful voice and spiritual leadership, his journey has been marked by a number of tragic events and personal challenges. His childhood traumas and abuse had a huge effect on his identity and made him want to help others find healing and hope. McClurkin was abused by his uncle when he was very young, which was a traumatic event that would haunt him for years. The betrayal and breach of trust left him with deep emotional scars that made him feel ashamed, confused, and alone. The abuse did not end there. McClurkin later went through more trauma when he was raped by a cousin. These acts of sexual abuse as a child not only messed up his formative years, but they also had a big impact on his sense of self and his relationships with other people. The scars from these abuses made it hard for him to figure out his sexuality. The abuse McClurkin experienced as a child made him have a complicated relationship with himself. For many years, he struggled with feelings of worthlessness and confusion about his sexuality. The abuse created an internal conflict that made it hard for him to reconcile his faith with the painful memories of his past. McClurkin's path to healing was not a straight line. While dealing with the effects of his abuse and trying to move forward in his personal and spiritual life, Donnie McClurkin has been incredibly open about his experiences, using his fame to bring attention to others who have been through similar things and help them heal. He has talked about his experiences in interviews, concerts, and sermons, stressing how important it is to speak out against abuse and get help. By telling his story, McClurkin hopes to make talking about sexual abuse less shameful, and he encourages survivors to get help and heal in his speeches and performances. McLaren also often talks about how faith can help people get over trauma, emphasizes that healing is possible, and that people don't have to be defined by their past. His message speaks deeply to many who have been through similar pain and gives hope and encouragement to those who are struggling with their own traumas. In addition to his musical and pastoral work, Donnie McClurkin is an advocate for survivors of sexual abuse. He has been a part of many campaigns and projects that aim to raise awareness about how common sexual abuse is and how important it is to prevent it and educate people about it. By using his fame, he hopes to create a cultural shift that encourages open dialogue about abuse and supports healing resources for survivors. In the early 1990s, McClurkin's life took a huge turn when he was given the shocking diagnosis of. McClurkin was diagnosed with leukemia, which was devastating news that filled him with fear and uncertainty. His life had already been full of problems, and now he had to deal with a life-threatening illness. This happened at a time when his music career was doing very well, and he was struggling with a lot of problems. McClurkin felt a lot of different emotions when he got the diagnosis, such as fear, confusion, and despair. But in the midst of his uncertainty, he found comfort in his faith. Drawing on the spiritual foundation he had built up over the course of his life, he started to get through this rough time with a renewed sense of purpose. Faith was an important part of Clerk's fight against leukemia. He often talks about how important it is to keep a strong faith in God during hard times. For him, faith wasn't just a belief, it was an active source of strength and comfort. He prayed fervently both alone and with his family. As he prayed for divine intervention in his health crisis, McClurkin's path to healing from leukemia was not an easy one. He had to go through a lot of treatments, including chemotherapy, which was very hard on his body. The side effects of the treatments were terrible, and McClurkin had times when he felt weak and uncertain. But he stayed true to his faith and used these times to grow closer to God. During this whole process, McClurkin continued to. He used his fame to share his story of faith and healing, which inspired many people who were going through similar health problems. His story gave people who were fighting illnesses hope and encouragement, reminding them that they weren't alone in their struggles. McCluskey's battle with leukemia had a huge effect on his ministry and music career after he beat it. He woke up with a new sense of purpose and decided to dedicate his life to spreading the message of healing and hope. His experiences gave his music a deeper emotional resonance, and he started to write and perform songs about perseverance, faith, and divine healing. In addition to his musical pursuits, McClurkin also focused on growing his pastoral work, using his experiences to help and counsel others going through health crises. He became an advocate for holistic healing, stressing the importance of spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being in the road to recovery. Donnie McClurkin is known for his powerful music and inspiring messages of faith. But his journey has not been easy. McClurkin has been through a lot of hard times. One of the scariest was when he was in a car accident that almost killed him. This event not only tested his physical strength but also strengthened his faith in God's grace and protection. On an otherwise normal day in 2018, McClurkin was driving when he suddenly lost consciousness while driving. The circumstances of this event are still unclear, but it was a moment that would change his life. Losing consciousness while driving is scary for everyone, but for McClurkin it led to a terrible car accident. His car crashed into something else, leaving him with multiple injuries that would need medical care and a long recovery time. McClurkin had a hard time recovering because he was hurt multiple times and needed medical care and rehabilitation. The physical pain was made worse by the emotional impact of the event. Surviving such a traumatic event can have long-lasting psychological effects, such as anxiety and trauma. During this hard time, McClurkin's faith became his anchor, and he stayed committed to his recovery. Through ministry, music, and speaking, he shared his story of survival and emphasized the role of faith in his healing journey. His strength and determination to get through the challenges caused by the accident inspired many of his fans and followers, and he often talked about how important faith, prayer, and gratitude are in getting through life's problems. After the accident, McClurkin thought about what had happened as a powerful example of God's grace in his life. He was thankful to have survived the crash and acknowledged the divine protection he felt during and after it. His view on the event emphasized his belief that God had a purpose for his life and a plan that went beyond the immediate circumstances. McClurkin's reflections on the accident struck a chord with many because he often talked about how, during times of crisis, McClurkin wanted to show that faith can bring comfort and hope, even in the darkest times. By sharing his story, he hoped to inspire others to lean on their faith during hard times and reinforce the belief that God is always present, even in the darkest times. The near-fatal car accident also gave McClurkin a renewed sense of purpose in his life and ministry. After his recovery, he dedicated himself even more to his work, using his platform to spread messages of hope, healing, and the importance of faith. McClurkin's experience after the accident made him more involved with his community and often stressed how important it is to help each other through hard times. He became an advocate for safety awareness and shared his story to bring attention to his experiences taught others to enjoy the present and cherish their loved ones, while also reminding them of how unpredictable life can be. Donnie McClurkin's strength, honesty, and willingness to share his life struggles have inspired people all over the world. His music ministry and testimony continue to touch lives, inspiring people to overcome. McClurkin's ability to use his pain as a way to help others heal has made him one of the most important figures in gospel music, influencing generations of fans and aspiring artists. In a world that often seems chaotic and uncertain, McClurkin stands as a lighthouse, encouraging others to trust in God's plan and embrace their own unique paths to healing and fulfillment.